Stop making decisions solely based on intuitions and start leveraging accurate data and analytics. Discover PostHog, your all-in-one platform for comprehensive analysis, testing, observation, and seamless feature deployment. To start using PostHog, you have multiple options available, either by using their cloud. They offer a free tier but also additional paid features. Together, we'll see how to deploy the self-hosted version available on GitHub by using Elestio. Go to ls.io, hit login, deploy my first service, search for PostHog, and hit select. Choose your cloud provider, your region, and your service plan. Let's use this one and hit next. Choose your level of support and hit create service. I received the email telling me that my instance is ready. I can go and click here to get the password. I click here to copy the password to my clipboard and here to access my instance. To log in, I enter my Elestio email address. Then I paste the password from my clipboard and it automatically sends a verification email to my address. I click on the link to validate it. Now let's follow the onboarding process. I can add a code snippet to my project. For the demonstration, we will do it on a website, but it will also work for mobile and backend. We can either copy a code snippet with a JavaScript code or use an NPM package. Let's use the first option. I go to my test website, insert HTML in head tag, and I paste it. Save. Now I can open my website. Let's see if PostHog detected it. Let's see. Continue. Listening for events, successfully sent events, so it received my page open. Let's hit continue. And we have the choice to record user sessions, it's enabled by default, and also to auto-capture front-end interactions, such as event, page views, clicks, and so on. Perfect, let's keep them and hit complete. After the onboarding process, we arrive on the Event Explorer. We will see it later. Let's follow the quick start guide. Invite a team member, I will skip this one. Create your first insight. Let's open it. Inside it, we can aggregate data, but first let's create an action. Let's go to data management. Hit OK. Go to actions and new action. We can either select directly on our website, but we will choose to do it from an event or page view. Let's name it subscribe. We will choose auto capture and we will check that a text element contains exactly subscribe. We can choose different type like a link target or an HTML selector or a page URL, and you can combine them, of course. But let's keep it simple and hit save. Now let's try it on our website. We have ultimate landing. The subscribe button is here. I will subscribe to the newsletter. What was it? The name, okay. And email subscribe. Perfect. Let's hit the reload button to see if it worked. And yeah, click span with text subscribe. Now we will be able to use that custom action inside our insight. So let's go back to it. You already have default one, like the page view funnel by browser, referring domain, growth, accounting. So out of the box, you already have it at your disposal. But we want to follow the quick start. So let's go to new insight. And instead of displaying the page views, we'll choose our newly created action, subscribe. And we are able to display it over time and to do all kind of calculation based on other data. For example, you can compare it to user using mobile or desktop or what kind of browser they have. Let's continue the quick start and hit save. Now we still have two actions to do. We can create our first dashboard. Let's go to it. By default, there is my app dashboard, which is automatically created. It contains the daily active users, weekly active users. It's not very visual yet because I'm the only one who visited that website, but because it is tracking all kind of events, it's quickly feed if you have some traffic on your website or your application. Let's edit our dashboard. Go here, edit layout. You can move items the way you want. You can drag and drop, resize it, and so on. You can click done editing. Once you are fine with your dashboard of what it contains and what data it displays, you can start using it. So when you want to use it, you can add some date range like the last 24 hours, last 40 days, and add any filter based on those data. You can also add your filters, and after that, you can export it and save it either in image or in JSON format to exploit the data. Let's continue our quick start. We created one, but we just saw the default one, but it's enough. And the final step is to track custom events. Let's go to it. And it opens us the documentation to set up custom events. Based on our language and way of working, we have different solutions. The first one is using Python, but it's not what I'm doing. You can capture events here with the different properties. It's what we will use with JavaScript. And because we have the import in our head, we should already have that available. So let's use it. Let's go back to our website builder app drag, go to select plan here, to actions, and we will add some JavaScript here. Click on JavaScript. What it is, it's on click, it will trigger the code we will write together here. So we need the PostHog.capture to capture the event. The name we want, so we will name it checkout, even if it's false. Maybe it will open the checkout page. And we define the offer we want to check out. So here, the first button is starter, save and close. Then let's repeat for the business button. We just change the offer to business. And this section here, currently it's hidden. We will enable it with a feature flag. Reload our page. We have the starter. We can click on it, click on business, click again on business, and we will see in the event if it works. We can now really open the Event Explorer section. And here we have our checkout event. We can see all other kind of events. It's funny, I double clicked on the button and it called it a rage click because I clicked it many times. But happy that the checkout works. We can expand it, look at the properties. We should have the offer somewhere. So it's what we wrote manually with business. And we have a lot of additional information always passed by PostHog. And of course, we can add as many properties that we need and want. As it works, we can go to Quick Start and say, we've done it, we have finished, and the Quick Start, we can close it. Because we are in Event Explorer, let's continue exploring it. Nice play on word. By default, it looks like this, which is kind of useful, but you can configure the layout you need based on your way of working, based on your role in your team, what kind of data you need to access quickly. It won't be the same between the marketing and product team, so you can create your layout. You can reorder them, decide to hide it or to update it, to have a different name, and to display other event properties. Let's keep the default because it's just a demonstration and I don't have specific needs here. We have seen that for the checkout event, we have all the properties available here, but you can see here we have the person and we can click on it and it displays us the information of the user, even if it's anonymized. It's useful to know if we have more users coming from desktop or mobile and what kind of browser they use, so we should fine-tune the experience on that kind of browser. It's a lot of data at your disposal that you can use to fine-tune your project or your website. As the dashboard screen, you have access to some filters based on the dates, on event, and so on. But let's go to the killer features. My favorite one is the session replay. And from here, we don't have a lot yet, but you can see the session replay. So you can see what your user have been done on the page. Again, it's anonymous. It helps you see what your user are doing, where they are clicking, but it's anonymized. It's not meant for you to see what that specific user is doing, but more, do your user understand what your app does and the features you built, do they work correctly or do they understand how they should use it, or are they doing it another way you don't expect it? On the right, you have a timeline to see everything that is done on the session. So you can see checkout, clicked on the span, checkout, navigated to another page and did other stuff. Used correctly, it can be very precious. We can see we have an issue with my website is not previewed correctly, but at least we have the timeline and we can see what the user was doing, and maybe it's fixable. You even have access to the console to see if there are any error that occurred for your specific user with its specific browser and device. You also have access to network to see how long it took to your user to have access to the web page. Maybe with poor network, the experience is awful and you didn't know it. Let's jump to the second killer feature, the feature flags. As always, you have a nice explanation of what it does and how it works. Let's create a feature flag. What it means is for some users, or maybe all of your users, you will be able from PostHog to enable a specific feature for some of them or all of them. That way you can experiment with your project with a feature and without. It helps you test it before putting it for all your users or getting rid of it if it's not beneficial for them. Let's name it Premium Offer. Description, we don't need it. Enable feature flag. This, okay. We don't need anything special. By default, it's applied to all users, but we can decide to roll out to only 50% of our users. It will be randomized. And based on that, we will be able to analyze if it has a nice or bad impact on our users. So we have the code we can copy. To be sure, we have the feature flag. I go back to my website. I have the feature flag code here. It's just vanilla JavaScript, but currently it's hiding the premium offer. Now we will paste the code that they provided. And if we have premium offer, we will remove the visibility hidden. We can save. Now, if I reload, I have 1 chance over 2 that I have the feature because it's only half of the users that have it. But they have a tool that helps us debug it. So we can go on launch toolbar. We have 2 domains actually. So we have the test domain from AppDrag and the official domain, mommy.org. I will enable on it, apply suggestion and launch. Now on the top right corner, I have the PostHog toolbar. It's only me who have access to it, not all the users. It can help me see the heat map or detect some actions. But here we are using it to enable or disable the feature flag. So currently I don't have it. I can check it. And you can see that premium is displayed because I had my JavaScript code called. Based on your project, you can hide or display or create actions based on this feature flagged event. You can see who used your premium offer to get some stats about your feature flags. But there are some features that require an enterprise plan on PostHog. So if I go to new feature flag, for example, we have the A/B test. It's not available with multiple variants. You have the same with experiments, which is a bit like the A/B test that you can somehow do with feature flags. So it's nice to have, but it requires a paid offer. And same applies if you go to person and groups and to groups. You can create groups just with the free offer, even the self-hosted one. But instead you can create cohorts, which is very useful. Let's create our cohort. You have the explanation to group people together. So it's likely like the group, but it's not the exact same. Let's name it newsletter users. We can define what kind of users are recognized as belonging to that cohort. So it's either from an event or with a property on the user, but we will keep completed event. And for the action, we will choose the subscribe one we created in the beginning of this demonstration. You can define on what timeline it applies, so how many years, maybe 100 years, so you're sure that all the subscribed users are belonging to newsletter users. Let's hit save, and automatically you can see who belong to that cohort to have the information. You also have other features like annotations that allow you to mark when certain change happen. So it's like a change log, but it helps you have it inside PostHog to understand if at certain events it impacts drastically your users. You can also add application to your PostHog to enhance your experience and to go further than the default features available. And as with any other tool, you have access to the project settings to customize your experience of PostHog. When you create your instance with Elestio, you have by default the default project, so you can rename it here. But you can also create multiple projects on one single instance. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this overview of PostHog. If it's the case, please hit the like button as it really helps our channel grow and be more visible to other open source lovers. Tell us in the comment if there are any tools you are looking for or you would like us to do a product overview. And if you have any technical question, you can ask them in our Discord. The link is in the description below. If you want to continue discovering great open source tools, you can watch our existing videos available here.